what she makes of that. It's tipping down a little bit right now, but it had been holding up, Aaron. I'm just curious what you make of that. Normally, markets like closure or some certainty, not that a huge legal settlement like this can provide much certainty, but it is what it is. How do you play and see this going forward for Boeing?
So the biggest outstanding question with this settlement is Boeing going to be allowed to be a federal contractor? Because it earned almost $23 billion, or it was awarded almost $23 billion worth of government contracts, defense contracts last year. And that makes that, $500 million fine look pretty darn small. So that's a really important thing. So far, what it looks like is Wall Street is expecting that Boeing is essentially too big to not be a contractor, and it's going to continue that very lucrative portion of its business. And this enables, as we've mentioned, to finally rebuild trust, to get ahead of this, to put it behind, to put all these issues behind it and start rebuilding that trust.
Yeah, and you did refer to the 480 some odd billion here. 243 billion of that is recognized already in what Boeing has already been paying under previous agreements. So it's actually a $243 billion fine. Nothing to sneeze at, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that in perspective, a lot of people are looking at that and saying, well, wait a minute here. So we don't have nearly as many big defense contractors as we used to. Certainly, it's down to just Boeing as an airplane maker in this country. So did that play a part in this, you think?
I think the portion where Wall Street is expecting it, that being convicted or guilty of a felony will not disallow it to continue its business with the U.S. government. I think that's really what we're seeing in the stock market. And essentially, I think that's what they're saying is we will plead guilty as long as we can still do business, because we are too big for you to ignore us, for us not to be a contractor.
And they're obviously a big player in space. They're going to be a key player in the Starliner, which become a fiasco right now with these astronauts stuck on the International Space Station, to say nothing of its big plans with Artemis and others going forward. So if you were to look at just the stock and the potential for a turnaround here, what would you say?
I would say, we could potentially see just 10%. It is going to take a long time. One of the problems, of course, is if we see further problems in the headlines, right?
Yeah.
So, but if we could finally maybe have 6 months of a quiet period where no issues are happening, I think the stock could easily rise 10%, if not 20% even over the coming years. But that's very dependent on Boeing actually complying with its provisional period of not having issues and really addressing all the issues and adhering to the agreement, let's say.
Yeah, not having issues could be the tallest task these days.
Yeah.
Aaron Gibbs, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, another